Okay.
All right, this is an interview with Don Holmes, the Beltrone Living Center, Colonie, New York. It's the 27th of August, 2003, approximately 11:15 a.m. The interviewers are Mike Russert and Wayne Clark. Could you give me your full name, date of birth, and place of birth, please?
Donald Stuart Holmes, born in Darby, Pennsylvania, October 21st, 1923.
Okay. What was your educational background prior to entering service?
I was enrolled in college at Muhlenberg College at the time, joined the V-12 program.
Okay. Do you remember where you were and your reaction when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
Yes, I was in the recreation room in West Hall at Muhlenberg College. It was probably must have been my first year in college, yeah.
How did you hear this?
On the radio. They had gathered a bunch of us together in the recreation room to said something important was coming up, and so a bunch of us went down.
Do you remember your reaction or the reaction of the group you were with?
Just amazed, startled, and probably starting to worry, but not immediately. But
Okay. Did you enlist or were you drafted?
I enlisted.
Okay. Why did you select the Navy?
Oh, I don't know. It just sounded good to me. My father had been in the Navy, and so it just was.
Had you ever been on a ship?
No, not really.
Okay. All right. When did you go into the Navy?
Let's see. That had to be 1943. I think I joined the V-12 program.
Okay. Could you tell us about that program, what it was, and what you...
It was a program designed by the Navy to recruit college-level people for officers training.
Okay. Where did you go for your training?
I went first to pre-midshipman school because they were clogged up at Columbia, and that was in Asbury Park, and we were there probably 6 or 8 weeks, and then we went to Columbia in New York City.
How long were you there in the program?
I was a 90-day wonder, so it must have been about 3 months.
Okay. Where did you go from there?
I was assigned to a minesweeper, the AM-308, and it was being built, I think, in Seattle, and it was coming down the river, and we were going to man it down at the...
So you were the first crew?
I was on the first crew of that ship, yeah.
Where was your assignment with the minesweeper? Did it have a name or just...
Yeah, it was the smallest of the ships. It was the Strategy, USS Strategy. And the guy that placed above me at midshipman school went to the Strength, which was the AM-309.
Okay, where were you assigned your ship? Did you go on, the first cruise was a shakedown cruise then?
Oh yeah, we did a shakedown in the, can't think of the name of the town, Seaside, Oregon. It was close to it anyway, because that's where we had a house. And we went down to San Diego for the shakedown trip. But we did a lot of work in and around the ship in Seaside, and then went down to San Diego.
Okay, where did you go from there?
Went from there to Hawaii, spent my first Christmas overseas in Hawaii. On the deck of the minesweeper watching some inane movie.
Could you tell us about your duties out of Hawaii? Then were you based out of Hawaii, or?
No, we went from Hawaii. We went to we went directly to the staging area for Iwo Jima. We participated in the Iwo Jima invasion. We stopped at a small island along the way. I don't remember which one it was. I kept looking forward to good officers' clubs where they could get ice cream, and there weren't any. You could get booze, but you couldn't get ice cream.
What were your assignments during the invasion of Iwo Jima?
I'm not sure when I became gunnery officer. I was assistant navigator, I was commissary officer, I was general deck officer, commissary, assistant navigator.
Now, I know you were a minesweeper, but what kind of duties did your ship do during the invasion?
We were sweeping the mines around the shore of Iwo Jima prior to the invasion.
Were there mines?
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But tell us the process of how you swept mines.
The mines that we were sweeping were what are called moored mines. Moored mine sinks a big weight down the bottom of the ocean, and the mine comes up on a cable and sink is down below the surface of the sea so you can't see them. And then we sweep mines with what we call, put a paravane on a long cable. A paravane was a set of things like a Venetian blind but made of steel. And it would pull the cable out away from the ship, and along that long cable were cutters, just a knife blade type of thing. And so the cable, if the mine was like this, the cutter came along and cut it, and the mine would pop to the surface. And then we had to destroy those mines.
How did you detonate them?
Rifles, machine guns, and anything we could get. It was one of the sports of the war was to kill the mines once you'd gotten them up. I don't know if you know anything about mine sweeping or not, but there's a lead ship who sweeps in relatively secure water, you hope, deep water where they don't generally moor mines. And then you have an echelon of ships behind it that are all traveling in. This guy sweeps out where there aren't any mines, so everything should be clear for the second ship, and the third ship gets cleared, fourth ship. So it's a long line moving in a diagonal so that everybody's behind a protected line. And I don't know, there might be 6 to 8 minesweepers in a line and sweeping the fields. And so if you cut a mine, the guy behind you got the chance to fire at it and shoot it and try to sink it or explode it.
Were there a large number of mines around Iwo Jima?
Yes. Yeah, large number of mines around Iwo.
Okay. How long did this procedure last normally?
I don't know how long we were there, probably maybe 2 months, I don't know, altogether.
Did you clear the entire coastline, or were you just
the
the
part
landing
where they were
beaches?
certainly going to land. And if there were other spots that we would go sweep where they wanted to have clear water, straits or bays or stuff.
So you were there, were you there 2 months prior to the landing then, or?
Oh, probably a week, 2 weeks maybe before the landing.
Were you ever under fire? Did the Japanese fire at the ships, or?
A couple times, but very light fire because they were holed up in the caves and the battle wagons were sitting out beyond us. Couldn't see them, but we knew they were there. They were hoping that they would fire on us so that they would be able to pinpoint where they were, but the Japanese were equally clever and they wouldn't fire at us because we weren't big game. So they waited till the real invasion came. So we had miscellaneous light fire occasionally come, nothing serious.
Okay. Where did you go after Iwo Jima?
It's amazing what I don't remember.
Yeah.
The next scene of action was Okinawa.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember how much later that was. I think Iwo Jima was in February, and Okinawa was probably in April, May,
May, yes.
I would think.
So you did Okinawa then?
Yeah.
Was
Like
that
the
the same
mines.
procedure and?
Yeah, same procedure.
Did you find more mines there
Oh,
or?
plenty of mines there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, plenty of mines there, and one of the things about that was the Kamikazee started to come into play at that point.
Mhm.
They hadn't been there previously.
Were you ever under attack by the kamikazes?
Yeah, yeah. And he fortunately saw a bigger ship just before he got to us. We were firing at him, and he's coming 90 degrees to us and turned, because there was a big merchant ship over there, so he went over.
Now, what kind of armament did your ship carry?
A 3-inch, one 3-inch gun, two 40 millimeters, I don't know how many 20s, probably 6.
What kind of hull did you have on these?
Metal hull,
Metal.
yeah. Yeah, it was a metal hull. They used that, the one below us often was the YMS, the yard minesweeper. They were quite often wood.
Now, how long were you on station at Okinawa? Do you recall? Or?
Well, I was there until, in that general area, until the first part of December. I had a arthritic problem in my left ankle, and it was giving me fits walking on the metal deck, and I finally said I'd need some help, and they put me on a hospital ship and sent me home. But war
Were
was
you
over.
there at all for the typhoon?
Oh yeah, we rode out a couple typhoons. Amazing things. Lose half a destroyer, and you could get into a trough and couldn't see the top of the next, couldn't see the next valley anyway.
How'd your ship handle in the typhoons?
Hey, it rode it out. Up and down, up and down. Kind of rough.
So you went on a hospital ship then, and when did you arrive home or back to the States?
I must have been somewhere around the 21st or 22nd of December, because I got home, went by train to Philadelphia, and from Philadelphia to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and got home Christmas Eve,
This was 1945.
1945.
Okay. Do you recall your reaction at all when you heard about the death of President Roosevelt?
Yes, I came from a very staunch Republican family. Need I say more?
Okay.
They were all saying that he had caused the war at the time, or had aggravated the situation enough to cause it. So I wasn't as sympathetic as I might have been.
Do you recall the reaction when you heard about the victory in Europe?
Yeah,
Where you were,
I
and
thought that was great, and that we probably would be looking forward to seeing some more help over in the Pacific.
how about your reaction when you heard about the dropping of the atomic bombs?
We were in Philippines getting outfitted because of the kamikazes. We were mounting machine guns, 50 calibers all along the railings of the ship, so that we could have more people firing at them as they came in. So we were all surprised, or didn't know that it was in the works, but could see that it would likely cause the end of the war. And so we were kind of happy about that.
Okay.
Not happy about the deaths, but happy about the fact
Yes.
that it wouldn't be us.
Okay. Do you Did you ever make use of the GI Bill?
You bet. Yes, sir. I finished my undergraduate degree and started working on my graduate degree. And my undergraduate I started at Muhlenberg, came back from the war, had a family and one son. And they didn't have housing for us at Muhlenberg, so we went where my wife had gone to school. They had housing, and so we finished off at Juniata, Pennsylvania. Went from there to, so I did Juniata and a couple years at Purdue on the GI Bill.
Did you ever purchase a home using it?
Yes, I did, and first home was Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
I went to teaching it.
How about the 52-20 Club? Did you ever make use of that?
I vaguely remember it. What was it?
It was 52 weeks, $20 a week. It was like an unemployment insurance after you...
No, I don't think I ever needed that. I'm not
Okay.
sure. I think with the GI Bill and stuff, I think we had, you know, it wasn't that we were rich or anything, and my mother-in-law was very sad when she heard we had macaroni for Christmas. But we got by all right.
Okay. Did you ever stay in contact with anyone that you were in service with?
For a while, I stayed in contact with the guy that was, I guess I was 49th in my class, and he was 48th, or I was 50th, and he was 49th. I had contact with him for a little while, and then that's just sort of dried up. Never, I don't know that there was ever a ship's reunion or anything. I haven't heard of it if there was.
Okay. Did you join any veterans organizations?
No, I didn't. I joined the Naval Reserve while I was in Atlanta and served in that for a couple of years. And was working on, I came out as a Lieutenant JG, was working on being promoted to a full lieutenant, and decided that I'd had enough of the military
You weren't
service.
called up for Korea or anything?
No.
Okay. How do you think your time in the Navy affected or changed your life?
Well, the war in general made young people mature more quickly. My wife and I were married. We were both 19 at the time. We had our first son when we were 20. And between the war, you know, and the family, the military service certainly helped you mature in a hurry. You had to survive.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your interview.
You're welcome.